You've probably heard them before. Individual actions don't matter. Recycling is basically pointless. Electric cars are worse for our environment. Environmental topics are full of strong opinions, but not all of them are backed by facts. Today, we're cutting through the noise. In this video, we're debunking 5 of the most common eco-myths using evidence, context, and real-world data, not guilt, not fear, and not greenwashing. The goal here isn't to shame anyone. It's to understand what actually helps and what doesn't. Let's get started. This might be the most common sustainability myth of all. The argument goes like this. Corporations cause most emissions, so individual choices are meaningless. Here's the reality. Yes, large corporations and industries account for a significant share of global emissions. That's an undeniable fact. But they don't operate in a vacuum. They respond to 3 powerful forces: consumer demand, regulation, and public pressure. When we choose to buy certain products, we are sending a signal to the market. When we demand better policies from our leaders, we create the framework for change. And when we normalize sustainable behaviors within our communities, we build social momentum. Think about it. Recycling, reducing waste, or choosing energy-efficient products. None of these actions will single-handedly fix climate change. Of course not. But together, they create a ripple effect. They shift market demand, they show policymakers what voters care about, and they make better choices the new normal. Widespread social change almost never starts from the top down. It bubbles up from the ground when enough people decide they expect better. So, is individual action the entire solution? No, but it is a vital part of the solution. It's the catalyst. You may have heard this one recently. Most recycling ends up in landfills anyway. This myth is particularly frustrating because it contains a grain of truth, but it's wrapped in a lot of misunderstanding. It's true that our recycling systems are far from perfect. Contamination, when we put the wrong things in the bin, like greasy pizza boxes or plastic bags, is a massive problem that can ruin entire batches of otherwise good materials. And it's also true that not all materials are recycled equally. Certain types of plastics, for instance, are very difficult and expensive to process. But here's what that cynical take always leaves out. High-value materials like aluminum cans, paper, cardboard, and steel are incredibly recyclable and save enormous amounts of energy and resources when they're reused. Recycling an aluminum can, for example, uses about 95% less energy than making a new one from raw materials. The real issue isn't the concept of recycling itself, it's how we, as a system and as individuals, execute it. When we provide clean, correctly sorted materials, we dramatically increase the odds they'll be turned into something new. Recycling isn't a scam. It's a tool. And like any tool, it only works well when we learn how to use it properly. This next myth often targets a real concern: the batteries in electric cars. The argument is that manufacturing EV batteries has such a high environmental cost that it makes them worse than gasoline cars. And yes, mining the materials for batteries and the manufacturing process itself have a significant carbon footprint. That part is true. But focusing only on the production stage is like judging a movie by only watching the first 10 minutes. It ignores the entire story. To get an accurate picture, you have to look at the vehicle's whole life cycle. This includes the environmental cost of extracting crude oil, transporting it thousands of miles, refining it into gasoline, and then burning that fuel for years and years, releasing emissions directly into our atmosphere every single day. When you factor all of that in, study after study shows that electric vehicles consistently produce lower total emissions over their lifespan. This is true even in places where the electricity grid is still heavily powered by fossil fuels. And as our grids get cleaner with more wind and solar, the advantage of EVs only grows larger. Are electric vehicles perfect? No, but they are a clear step forward, not a step backward. Progress doesn't require perfection. It requires improvement. This next myth sounds positive, but it's actually one of the most misleading. It's the idea that products labeled eco-friendly, green, or natural are always the better choice. Unfortunately, this often isn't the case. This deceptive marketing practice has a name: greenwashing. It's when a company spends more time and money marketing themselves as sustainable than actually minimizing their environmental impact. You've probably seen it. Single-use items, like a plastic cup, labeled biodegradable, but the fine print reveals they only break down in a special industrial composting facility that most cities don't even have. Or a product that comes in excessive non-recyclable packaging but has a tiny leaf symbol on the front. Or a company that highlights one small, positive attribute like using recycled material for the tag, while ignoring the massive pollution caused by its manufacturing process. The truth is, the most sustainable option is often not buying a new green product at all. It's using what you already own. It's buying less overall. It's choosing products that are built to last, that are durable, not disposable. True sustainability isn't about buying better things. It's about buying fewer things, and doing so thoughtfully. This final myth is perhaps the most damaging of all. The belief that we're already too late, that the worst effects of climate change are locked in, so there's nothing we can do. This idea, often called climate doomism, is so dangerous because it leads directly to apathy and inaction. And inaction is the one thing that guarantees the worst-case scenarios come true. The reality is far more nuanced and, believe it or not, more hopeful. It is true that some environmental damage is already irreversible. We can't unmelt a glacier. But so many critical outcomes are still very much within our control. The science is clear. Every fraction of a degree of warming we prevent matters. Every species we save from extinction matters. Every acre of forest we protect or restore matters. Each of these actions slows down the rate of harm and gives our planet and ourselves more time to adapt and build resilience. Hope is not the same as denial. Hope isn't pretending the problems aren't serious. Hope is recognizing that our actions today still have a profound ability to shape a better future. The future isn't a fixed destiny that's already been written. It's a story we are still writing. If you want to go deeper than headlines and social media arguments, long-form learning is essential. Books, documentaries, and well-researched journalism provide the crucial context and nuance that short-form content just can't deliver. These complex systems can't be fully understood in a 60-second clip. That's why I strongly recommend exploring credible sustainability books and documentaries. The goal isn't to be told what to think, but to learn how to think more critically about these interconnected issues. To help you get started, I'll put a few thoughtful recommendations for books in the description below. Ultimately, sustainability isn't about being perfect. It's about being informed. By questioning these common myths, we empower ourselves to make better choices. We learn to spot manipulation, whether it comes from fear, guilt, or slick, greenwashed marketing. If this video helped clarify things for you, please consider subscribing for more environmental content. Thanks for watching, and thanks for caring enough to learn.